This is a demonstration of a few new capabilities around visual rules for product templates in the June 2023 release of NX. A couple of these are going to apply to feature templates as well, and it'll be clear as we go through which which ones are which. But let's start with this little product template. This is of course a little tooling bracket. As you might expect, this has some size to it. There's a length along the floor. There's a rise length. It's a height here. And a basic width, and then there's some hole patterns. These are feature templates actually that are embedded inside here for each of these patterns, and we can edit those feature templates directly here through this UI. There's another video about this and how this works, but let's look at the visual rule stuff here in this context. In this context, what we're going to do is let's take this product template that we're in right now, and let's go look at the product template author and go into the visual rules environment here for just a minute and look here. Now, we don't have any visual rules in here yet. A couple of things that I want to show you. One is we had a request to add a new visual rule that would let us fit the screen. And that was an interesting one. And there's some times when we have product templates that are changing size significantly to the point where either getting very large and part of the template is not visible anymore, or very small and it's hard to see them. And so we've had some requests from template authors to be able to at certain points, key points during the editing of that template, to be able to fit the screen so that we can go back and continue to stay in a useful kind of visual context here while we're editing a template. Okay, so I'm going to create a new rule here and call it fit selected. Just for fun, I'm going to actually, this is another tiny thing I wanted to show you, is if I accidentally create this as an internal rule. Internal rules are ones that are intended to be called from other visual rules, and this is not one of those actually. But this little toggle was a thing that we couldn't edit before this release. So we've added the ability here to after I've created a rule, to go back to that rename dialog, that same one where we put in the name. We can go back and edit this after the fact and make this not be an internal rule anymore, which is really nice. So that again, we can edit that toggle now, and that's super helpful. In this part here, for instance, I'm going to go grab say all the bodies in this part. There's really only one, but I'm going to grab all the bodies in this part and fit those, right? One more little thing to show you here is if I grab the wrong rule, for instance, and bring it over and I start to try to hook this up, that actually worked, which is fine. Yeah, that's true. That does still work. But in this context here, if I was trying to do this and I got into this state where I had a connector partway started and I couldn't connect it anywhere, this would get us in a little bit of a tricky situation in previous releases. We've cleaned that up for you visual rules fans, and just like the logic editor now, if we're in this state, we can just hit the escape key, and as we hit the escape key, that'll cleanly drop us out of that connector creation. So that's fixed, so to speak. Works way better now. I am actually going to use that from part rule now that I think about it. And let's go ahead and connect that up. And what I want to fetch is not the attributes, but the bodies, right? So I'm going to grab the bodies from this part, just so it's not like a one-step rule. Let's go and actually highlight these just for fun. So I can come down into the actions here and grab the highlight rule, and let's add that. And then the new one is our fit, right? So our fit screen is down here, and we'll add that guy too. So this is going to take those bodies, going to highlight those bodies, and then after that, we're going to fit the screen. Okay, so this fit selected rule, whenever this gets invoked, and we're going to invoke it in a particular spot. Again, we'll grab all the bodies, which in this case is just the bracket body, the one, highlight it, and fit the screen. Okay, so with that, let's go hook it up. So in the user interface here now for this part, I want to do that specifically on this rise length, right? So as this gets extra tall or very small here, particularly when it gets tall, it's going to have the potential to stretch off the screen pretty easily, right? So as we change the rise length here, what we want to do is invoke that rule. So when this value changes, anytime this value changes, we can go and either execute a journal out here, or we can invoke a visual rule. And we're going to do that, and that fit selected. Because this is not an internal rule, it's going to show up right here, available to select and add as an action here. So we're going to do that. So anytime now we change that rise length out there, this is going to execute that rule, right? And do that highlight and fit, because that's what we put in our rule. Okay, so let's do that. We'll finish this, come out here, and let's start this up. So as we come here, again, we're in the context of a product template. We've got the little yellow icon that tells us we are, so that gives us the edit reusable component here to work with. And as we fire that up, you see that, again, we've got our basic sizes here. And as we make this small, actually, let's go ahead and go for broke here, make this really, really tall. This will get bigger than the screen out here, right? And as we do this, as we hit enter, as this value is changed specifically, then we're going to see that visual rule get invoked. And as we do that here, we'll see it get highlighted. Again, the body will get highlighted here, and we're going to fit the screen all at the same time, right? So as I hit enter here, you'll see it gets big and it stays visible, right? Which is pretty slick. And similarly, if we go the other direction, if we come down and I think that fits, then yeah, that's, I think, the shortest one you can build, right? It'll do that and then fit the screen, which is pretty nice. So with that, let's go back there. That's how we are able to, again, inside Product Template Author, use visual rules here now to do a few new things, right? Again, we talked about the creation here. We can escape out of that now very cleanly. We talked about the fit is the new one, right? This again was a customer requested one. We had a few of the ambitious template authors that again had situations like this where things are growing and shrinking in size significantly. Yeah, we added that pretty easily. And then our third one then was that ability to toggle that internal rule status on there. Okay, so with that, I hope that is useful to you.